Hey guys, how you doing? This is Raion Date, aka Date Raion-Sama on Twitch and on Twitter, a member of the Hashira podcast. We talk all things anime and nerd. And today, I actually have an interesting video I want to talk about some things in the brand new year and just, I guess, some things that are on my mind in the anime verse and the nerd world. So, as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to be part of the conversation. If you hit the notification bell, you know whenever we put out a new video. And of course, get ready for this episode.
I'd like to begin with a fact.
So it's 2023, and what I wanted to talk to you guys about is how one person that I know, a friend of mine, the bro, was able to create a video about their favorite anime arc, or the greatest anime arc, or the best anime arc in their opinion, and do it without causing any toxicity at all. And that's a masterclass, if you ask me. And the reason why that's so important is because it's so hard to share your opinion in the animeverse nowadays without being attacked or causing fights in the comment sections, or people believing in things, or One Piece is One Piecing, or those who are from the hidden villages, hidden wherever they are, all come out to fight, and it's hilarious. Now, there are some things that I have questions about regarding this video, and if you have already guessed, you have already guessed it by now, we're talking about Rob from Shonen Showdown. Now, he made a video about him finding the greatest anime arc.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shonen Showdown. Today, we gotta find out what is the best anime arc of all time. And we're going to be doing a bracket.
And he had kind of a tournament where he debated his reasoning for why each anime arc defeated another anime arc going across it. And it was done in a way that, even though I don't agree with him, I wasn't mad at him. And I felt like he's always been able to do that. And I do want to shout him out for that, because I always say this, even when he was on one of our episodes, I was always like, I feel like he's just really unbiased when it comes to things, even if he still is One Piece biased at heart. And so when you get into describing certain arcs and different things in anime, it's hard to not talk about the main things and the stuff that kind of gets you going and moving, right? What you remember the most, especially if you haven't been rewatching it in a while, there are some things that are going to come to your mind that don't come to mind for the one that you haven't seen in ages, right? If we're talking about anime arcs that were mastery, like the Invasion of Pain, we get one of the greatest entrances in anime as a whole when Naruto comes back to the village in order to save it. And not only that, but we get the big build up to that moment from him training in Mount Myoboku to get the Sage Jutsu and the Sage Chakra, to the village struggling without him, to Kakashi having to deal with pain by himself while he's still in his chakra draining kind of state because of the Sharingan. We get to see just the complete chaos. I mean, like, Pain was making birds come out of homie's backside. Like, there was just so many things happening in that arc. Not to mention seeing a bunch of jutsu, seeing a bunch of people fight, and the inevitable fight between Pain and Naruto, two students of Jiraiya who picked two different paths. Now, of course, I just went through that whole thing to explain that because there are a lot of arcs like that, and for each arc on this list, I'm quite sure Rob could have went through them verbatim, not verbatim, but just very close to what they were, and still be able to kind of move forward and keep it short and brief the way he did. That's a mastery. But again, I told him I had questions on Twitter. I did, and here are the questions. So let's get to it. All right. So here is question number one. Let's just roll the footage real quick. Let's roll the footage.
Oh, I can't win. I can't win. 0 Requiem from Code Geass going up against Return to Shiganshina from AOT. I don't know what to do here. So 0 Requiem. This is when the Lelouch decided, you know what? I'm gonna take all of the world's pain, put it on my back, mask myself.
All right, I'm sorry, I gotta pause right here for a second. So for all of you that don't know, I am a firm believer in Lelouch v Britannia. I am a big Code Geass fan, and I think that is probably top 3 anime of all time. I love Code Geass. So much so that if you look through any of our older videos on YouTube, or any of our newer videos on YouTube, I'm still going to bring up the fact that I think that Lelouch is one of the greatest of all time, and I think that he's just absolutely great. Even I, with all that, have questions about what comes next.
as the evil of the world so people can take me out. I can bear the world's sin on my back, and then all after I am killed, the world will be okay. This is Lelouch's thinking, and it was one of the most powerful anime endings ever. Oh my goodness. This scene still hits. Such a powerful scene. And this is coming from somebody that cannot stand Suzaku. I gotta give Suzaku his flowers for carrying through this entire plan, because it hurt him just as much. Sorry, I can't look at when Nunnally starts crying. That hurts way too much. But then we have to look at this Attack on Titan arc, yo. This is Levi versus the Beast Titan. This is, do you save Erwin or do you save Armin? This is one of the craziest arcs ever. There's so much going on that you don't even know. You blink and all of a sudden Reiner and Bertolt are going crazy. You blink and Zeke is throwing rocks over the wall. I mean, it's crazy. If y'all have ever seen Zeke look stressed when he sees Levi, this is the reason why. Zeke hears Levi's name and starts to...
All right. Now I want to go on a disclaimer. As a matter of fact, let me just go forward. Let me go forward. I'm gonna go forward, right? So you guys can see what he picks here. Hey, do you see it? You see it? You see it? Okay. Now my only problem with this, right? And even though I am, like I said, I'm big Lelouch energy, and I think that Zero Requiem was probably one of the greatest things I've ever watched ever. And I'm not trying to let which one is more popular kind of sink in. I just think that Return to Shiganshina was probably, I mean, arguably, I think it was better. I think it should have won this one, even though I'm a big Code Geass fan. Now, he's already done the breakdown, right? He's already went through all the reasons why this should be better than others in a way that is kind of acceptable, right? I feel like Zero Requiem doesn't get as much respect as it deserves, and it definitely deserves respect. But return to Shiganshina. Oh god.
This world shall know pain.
Was just a masterclass in suspense and everything that was going on during that arc. Fighting with Bertholdt, Reiner, the Erwin speech that sent many people to their deaths in order to give my boy Levi enough time to literally wash up Zeke. Not only that, but Armin's plan and how it really put himself on the line and how nobody knew that was going to happen until it happened. And to just kind of the overall feeling of not understanding or knowing what characters were going to make it. That whole feeling of dread and the entirety of just the thought process and all of the philosophies that go forth for Attack on Titan to be the suspense thriller that it has become, just kind of, in my opinion, gets over Zero Requiem. Now, again, I will never downplay Zero Requiem, and I can go into how fantastic that was. His kind of chess matches with Schneizel to the final chess match at the very end. Him having to literally stand on his convictions in front of Nunnally while she sat in the chair holding the weapon against him to fire the cannon and stuff like that. These things really make a lot of sense. And if I can really go into Code Geass, and I'm trying not to, because if I do so, it will show my bias. But I just think that AOT should have won out right here. So just a question, and I like he gave his reasoning, but you know, just this is questionable, just to me. All right, y'all. So here we go. This is the next question. This is it, right here. This is the question, right here. It exists right here. So as you can see on the screen, we get to Dark Tournament from Yu Yu Hakusho against the Invasion of Pain from Naruto. And yeah. So we'll just roll the tape.
Invasion of Pain arc from Naruto. I don't know what to do here. There truly is no wrong answer. I don't know what to pick, man. Naruto versus Pain was such an important fight to the series because they both realized that they were pupils of Jiraiya.
Alright, now I don't know if I can say there's no wrong answer here. But again, opinions.
And Pain just happened to go down the wrong path. Nagato just happened to go down the wrong path, but Naruto went down the right path. That's the only thing that separates them. When you're looking at Toguro and Yusuke, they are also very similar. Both have close relationships with Genkai. To Yusuke, Genkai is more of a mentor, but for Toguro, Genkai was a lover, a former lover. So it's very interesting how they came out, and now Toguro is trying to kind of teach Yusuke at the same time while he's kind of trying to kill him. It's a very weird type of situation going on there, but that's why Toguro is one of the most celebrated villains in all of the anime community, because he's just that beautifully written. You really can't make a wrong pick here, honestly. But if I had to pick, I think I'm gonna go with the Dark Tournament arc only.
What? Huh? What? All right. Okay. Now, the one is not like in the worst timeline, of course. And I mean, you know, but the Dark Tournament arc being one of the best tournament arcs in anime history, and I say that with no apology, because a lot of times, and we've talked about this before on the Hashira podcast, tournament writing is kind of like the out button to a lot of animes, especially shonens, when you're trying to find a different way to weave a bunch of stories together, get a bunch of characters together in one place and make high stakes. You make a big tournament, some big payoff that saves the entire verse or whatever the case is while you're winning. And we see it a lot in Dragon Ball Z between the Cell games and between the Tournament of Power, stuff like that. The tournament writing to us and to me is a very lazy way of making sure that you get everything together and can write about random characters' backstories and make sure everything is okay. And the Dark Tournament did not do that. It kind of made sure that a lot of characters felt important. Like that was one of the reason why that's a masterclass on tournament writing is because by the end of the tournament, you know all the team's characters and feel attached to them in some way or hate them in some way, because you should. Now, that in itself is fantastic. And of course, all the emotions that go through Yusuke, his growth, and becoming the greater Yusuke who has all the power of the spirit orb and all that stuff in that kind of situation. Of course, Kuwabara, a mulberry's a tree. Kuwabara's a man. Like, we'll never forget those moments. They're fantastic. But again, against the invasion of pain, I don't know. Invasion of pain is a lot. That was the destruction of Konoha, and by the hand of, like he said, Jiraiya's other pupil. And I've actually already explained this in the beginning of the video. It doesn't make sense to go over it again, but I could. And even the animation up to the end and how that fight went down, Hinata kind of like doing what she could for Naruto kind of popping out the rest of those tails. And of course, as you know in animation, whenever you see cubes start flying around, it's getting real. All these things happened in the Invasion of Pain, and I find it hard to put Dark Tournament over Invasion of Pain, even though for nostalgia and for what I think it was fantastic. I don't think it sits above the Invasion of Pain from Naruto. I think that's a harsh one there for me. But again, opinions. But that was to me a little bit questionable, and just questions. He told me to ask my questions. He did. Okay.
Watched that arc a lot more than I have rewatched the Invasion of Pain arc, but I still love both arcs equally. The 1,000-Year Blood War arc from Bleach going up against Zero Requiem from Code Geass.
All right. Now, this isn't questionable to me, and I know a lot of Bleach people are going to be upset, but I feel like Bleach coming back with all of its hype is not necessarily a fair way to measure it against an older kind of... No, I'm joking. I mean, I'm biased for Code Geass, so weighing in here is not even fair, but I just wanted to point this out because I'm so glad that, you know, Zero Requiem beat 1,000-Year Blood War. Yeah, just fantastic. You know, that's all. That's all. Yeah, that's all. You know, hold on. We'll go to the end of this one just so you can see who he gave it to. You know, yeah, you know, about right here. Okay.
But I'm just being honest here in the fact that because I have not read the Bleach manga, I can't sit here and say I'm going to take the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. I'm believing the hype, but because I got to see the Zero Requiem arc in its entirety, that's probably the only reason why I would take the Zero Requiem arc over the 1,000-Year Blood War.
Yeah. No. So we're good with that. We're good with that. We're good with that. All right, guys. And this right here is when it gets real. This moment right here when we get to the final four, and the whole situation and everything, you know, it's all hunky-dory until we get to this point right here. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
But I don't have a choice. We got to finish this video at some point. Let's do it. Marineford War going up against the Dark Tournament from Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm just gonna be honest, whether it is One Piece bias or not, the One Piece bias is gonna have to make its way in at some point. I truly believe the Marineford War is one of the greatest anime arcs of all time, even though I think that as well of the Dark Tournament arc. The hype surrounding the Marineford War and just seeing Whitebeard completely dominate pretty much all of his enemies, seeing Shanks make his way there, it was the perfect thing that we needed to see during the kind of time skip Straw Hat separation time period in One Piece. I don't think the Dark Tournament had that much hype around it. I'm going with the Marineford War, respectfully.
There it is. There it is. I mean, not a question. I am proud of his honesty. That honesty right there, my goodness. That's real. That's real. That's real. The amount of honesty and audacity it takes to get to the end of a video where you're trying to pick out the best anime arc and just be like, listen, at some point my bias was going to run into something. But here it is right here in the final four. I respect it. Is there anything else to do but respect it? Is there anything else? I respect it. There's nothing else to do. Not a question. You got it. Let's keep going.
Next, we have the Zero Requiem arc from Code Geass going up against the Chimera Ant arc from Hunter x Hunter. Now, the fact that Zero Requiem arc made it this far, I'm actually very, very happy because I am a...
He's not the only person that's very happy that Code Geass made it this far. All right, continue.
Big Code Geass fan as well, and I really believe that ending to Code Geass, you cannot put many anime endings up against that ending. There may be a couple out there, but I don't know about 5. Granted, we do know Code Geass does continue on, so obviously there's more to go on with there, but still, this scene still hits. The Chimera Ant arc is done so beautifully because there's so many moving pieces, so much character development going on. We are literally even seeing Meruem is part human in his relationship formed with Komogi. I'm trying to think from the Zero Requiem perspective, even though it was the perfect ending, the amount of moving pieces that are going around the Chimera Ant arc, whether you have Palm showing up, you're having Netero going up against Meruem, you're having Killua able to paralyze Yuppie in order to save Knuckle and get out of there. I mean, there are so many things going on. The Chimera Ant arc has so much more to offer. That's really what it...
Now, Hunter x Hunter to me is one of the more complex animes that I enjoy watching throughout, right? But moving pieces is funny because it's kind of a pun when we're talking about Code Geass, as everything in Code Geass is referably a chessboard, and we talk about a lot of the characters in the show and how they are all moving around, all those who decide to take the side of Zero, or Lelouch at the time, who becomes kind of the Zero Requiem arc, and how we understand that all the people who decide to stay on the resistance against him, even though they fought with him through the entire anime, and all the emotions that lead up to that head and the very end, mean that there are so many moving pieces, so much going on between the Federation of China, between Japan, and all the guys that were working with Lelouch. I mean, Colin willing to stand up till the very end with Lelouch. If he would have just said that he didn't do anything to harm them, she was willing to jump on that side, her being, if I might say, the strongest pilot in the entire show. The fight with Schneizel, like I said before, it's just Suzaku's kind of real resolve to see it through, and how they have literally been friends forever on opposite sides and end up back to each other because of how the story was written, and how even Jeremiah Gutwald ended up working for Lelouch again after understanding what happened with Lady Marianne. There is so many pieces in Code Geass, and it's way more, I guess, than I guess kind of just the story you get from Hunter x Hunter. Now, Hunter, I do not take that as I think Hunter x Hunter is light, nor do I take the Chimera Ant arc as light at all. There's a lot of times when I talk about anime as a whole, where I refer to the Chimera Ant arc as things being done correctly. But just to say there's a lot more moving pieces and there's more to offer from Hunter x Hunter, I don't think that's the case. I do think that as an action anime where there's kind of fighting instead of robots and mecha, as they say. It kind of gets that edge of how the aesthetic looks a little bit better and what's going on. Of course, I mean, we get Gon Killua, we get Netaro boxing with Mariam, we get, come on. There's a lot happening there, but if we're going with moving pieces and an entire society and an entire ecosystem based around a storyline that comes to a head and, as you said, ends very, very well, I'm still giving it to Code Geass. So, yeah, just thoughts. But yeah, we continue.
It is the bottom line. You can't find flaws in the Zero Requiem arc, and you can also find some flaws in the Chimera Ant arc, but the Chimera Ant arc has so many more pros. There's so much more things that happen within it. It would be disrespectful for me to vote against it. And this hurts my heart as a Code Geass fan. Oh man, we're down to the final.
Now we got
championship.
Now, I don't even know why he did all that. You see all that? The questions I have is that, why you did all that? Now, you already knew who you was fitting to pick to win this once you got to the Final Four. Once you ruled out Zero Requiem, and honestly, even putting Chimera Ant Arc in the Final Two, we all knew what you was fitting to pick, Rob. We all knew. We knew. But anyway, roll the tape.
Chip match here. Marineford War going up against the Chimera Ant arc. Y'all know me. I love One Piece. I truly believe the Marineford War is just a masterpiece. You can say that about the Chimera Ant arc as well, but when I'm looking at the Marineford War, I believe the hype was there. The setup was beautiful from Impel Down leading up into it. Ace's execution. You're seeing the Marines also having...
First of all, we don't talk about Ace execution. We just don't do that, okay? Thank you.
Fights among themselves, whether it is Garp going up against Akainu or whatever. You are also seeing the pirates struggle against each other as well, whether it's Crocodile and Doflamingo, or you're having Squartle going up against Whitebeard and stabbing him because he was finessed by Akainu. There's so much going on in the Marineford War arc. Even if you look at all the hype moments from the Chimera Ant arc, you cannot find blemishes in the Marineford War arc if you've given it a chance and actually tapped into One Piece. I already know my people in the comment section are saying, of course a One Piece fan picks a One Piece arc.
I'm one of the fans in the comment section, bro. I am one of them. Of course a One Piece guy picked a One Piece arc to win the greatest arcs in anime. And honestly, I'm not surprised. So, but what I want to say as we get to the end of this video and the end of my thoughts on kind of what he did, I want to say this. I think that as far as it goes, the more that you watch specific anime, it's easier to recall the events from it and the characters' names and give it a lot of feeling. And therefore, because he loves One Piece and because Marineford arc, to me, is the best arc in One Piece as a whole, and I'll go on record saying that, I do believe that it's easier for him to recall those feelings because he also says he's watched that arc more than any other arc, and therefore it will sit in a certain place in his heart, the same way you might have watched other arcs yourself and also thought of which arcs were the best arcs and which arcs weren't, and so forth, so on. So because of that, I don't hold that against him, not at all. But again, we all knew it was going to win once he got to a certain point in the list. Now, I wasn't expecting some anime to get as far as they did, and as a Code Geass fan, I was certainly excited about it and definitely hyped. But it's just a reminder to everyone watching anime, that right there was a masterclass on taking opinions and ideas about what you think and just making sure it didn't sound toxic or kind of dismissing some other anime. Could he have gone into depth a little bit more about some of the anime he talked about? Of course. Could he have gave us some more character stories and talked about more of the side casts of other anime that was really kind of the webs being woven together in order to create these fantastic and amazing stories that make us watch these anime and these arcs over and over again? Yes. But he intensified with each round in order to come up with more things and stuff that he thought about certain anime. And I think he did that in a way that kind of keeps us like, okay, he at least is talking about them in a way that lets us know that he watches them, respects them, and keeps it pushing. And again, we need more of that anti-toxic stuff in 2023. So, this has been Raion-Date. These have been my thoughts. That was Rob, my brother, Shonen Showdown. And we'll see what he has to say about this episode in the comments. Hopefully he'll say something about it. But, as always, Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this where we're talking about just anime and the community as a whole. And we'll have more podcasts coming for you covering the rest and the final parts of a lot of the anime that came out in the fall season that are ending now, because there's spring season stuff is coming up soon and some more stuff coming out very soon. So I hope that you've been well. I hope that 2023 has, I guess, met you in a good place and may continue to treat you that way. As always, do something that makes somebody else's life better, because that will enrich your very own. Continue to be supportive, and remember there's nothing you can't do if you get up and try your hardest. Beyond that, stay safe out there, and of course, stay nerdy, my friends. Johnny.